Hey, what's going on? It's DJ Troy 23 with another video here. One of these breaks in the usual videos that I ended up recording. This one's a pretty tough topic. One of the topics that I want to discuss for a while. However, but just takes time. All that. I do appreciate everybody following. Do appreciate everybody coming through and checking out my videos and seeing what's going on with everything that I'm doing. But one of the topics today that I was looking to talk about was a tutorial on men's mental health. And it's one of those tough topics where I do know that a lot of people talk about it and you get a lot of different types of like viewpoints and masculinity and things like that. But from my point of view, I think I have a lot of different views and a lot of different feelings about how it means to be a man nowadays with a lot of the mental health issues that go along today. Right off the bat, I've documented some of my own issues and my struggles that I've gone through. Been diagnosed, been to therapy, taking medication, and put a lot of things at risk that I didn't think was gonna be at risk at the time. But as time went along, I was like, oh, this is really gonna start affecting like how things are going on in life and how I'm viewing certain things in life. So just wanted to make a video, see how things are going, update people. I haven't made a personal video a while since quarantine, and I was at home a lot and I was doing a lot of different things. So right off the bat, this video is dedicated to all my bros, everybody that I've grown up with. I'm heading into my mid 30s and seeing a lot of the people and meeting a lot of different people over my life, I've learned that especially the men that have been in my life have been formative. They've given me different takes, helped me understand different things when it comes to being a man in this age. I want to say this age because this age that we've been in has been crazy for everybody. So one of the biggest things that I want to start off with was the relationship with your elders, people that you've grown with, people that you've understood and taken some little tidbits and said, yo, I'm gonna do what they are doing and see where I can go with that. So right off the bat, a lot of men, we don't have great relationships with our fathers, older figures. I remember growing up, I have a dad that is by the book, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, truck driver, working equals money. And when you have a traditional sense like that growing up as a kid, my mom was, still is very progressive, looks at the silver lining a lot more. But the beautiful thing about having those two different viewpoints growing up as a kid, you get to see the harsh realities with life from my dad, and then you get to see the optimism and the hope that comes from having a mom that looks for all the good things out of life. So it's a two-sided coin when you look at it. Like I said from before, a lot of men, and I say this very candidly, I've talked to a lot of guys that have either they have a decent relationship with their dads, like they can talk to them on a day-to-day basis, get advice, understand where they're coming from. There's the ones that have horrible relationships with their dads and they go through it, as opposed to looking at that and saying, hey, I don't want to be like that, but not just be like that, I want to be 50 times better than that. So they have like a whole saga they're going on with. And then you have those ones that have a good relationship, don't understand what's really happening when it comes to certain aspects of their lives, like those type of dads that hide their past so they can give you a good life. Those type of people where it's like you have to dig and you have to understand them a little bit further. So there's all different types that are out there, but the ones I'm talking to right now are the ones that didn't really give you a fair shake, teach you certain things. And one of the biggest things I was realizing trying to make this video was I'm improving my relationship with my dad, and I'm starting to understand him more as a human being and who he's become throughout the years, as opposed to the God, his word is everything, it's law, you know what I'm saying, I am the law, type of guy. But it's like, once you get past that, and this was my first instances going through my discovery with therapy, was for those, I want to say 4, maybe 5 months of really talking about it and really understanding where he came from being an immigrant, coming from, a situation where this is the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and you gotta make things happen. You just gotta make things happen. There's no reason why you shouldn't make anything happen. There's either you did what you did or you didn't do anything at all. That's how it was. Now, where I'm teaching him a lot of the different things that are going on now, because he has his ideals of where I should go in my life, what I should do, as opposed to how I'm going to get there. It was more up to me to find out how to actually end up getting there. But there's always the keys, and there's always the ability of him to be like, yo, this happened to me and I don't want this happen to you. So that's where I really hold my solace in, and I suggest to a lot of my brothers, go out and find, and that's not to just say from that, that was just a springboard. You have to go out and find in real life mentors, different people that you can agree with, disagree with, learn from. One of the biggest things I've learned over the past couple of years is always to have, in terms of ages, is have somebody older than you that you can learn from, somebody that's your same age that you can relate to and talk about similar things, not same age, but about a year or two apart, and then somebody younger than you that you can teach, that you can help out and let them see that this is where I went and I'm going through this, learning the same way you're learning, but you have a template. You always want somebody that you have to have a template, and I think that makes you more well-rounded as a guy. That makes you more well-rounded, and it makes you see things from different aspects, because you'll always have your point of view. I'm always going to have my point of view on how I view life, but at the end of the day, it's shaped because I have all these different levels of people that I can talk to and understand and see where things can go once things go. And I'm gonna keep this video short. I'm just got a couple bullet points before we get back. I usually do funny things and try to not to get too serious about things. I don't really take social media crazy serious. It still affects me and stuff like that, but it's not that serious. But this was really prompted by a couple of phone conversations that I had with a couple of friends over the past couple of weeks. And guys, you're going through it, and I'm feeling for you. And to say that you're not alone in that you're not alone type thing, you're seriously not alone. You have to get out, and you have to understand that this is a war. This is something that you have to battle with every single day. Anxiety, depression, panic, things that you wake up in the day and you're just like, yo, what's going on? And I think it's special to men, because at the end of the day, we have to make money. We have to. That's the one thing that it's not specific. I want to say specific, because we're all human beings. We got to make a living wage, and we got to, pay bills and things like that. But for men specifically, we have to make money. That is no arguments, no nothing. We know the difference of being on your mama's couch and the difference of I'm making enough money that I don't have to worry about anything. There's a difference. We, as men, we know there's a difference. It's how we're viewed in society. It's how we operate. When we go out, we still got to go out and be in society, and I feel a lot of men, this is leads to the second bullet point. All this stuff is going to come up in the corners, but the second bullet point is confidence and the threat of feeling alone. Now, when you feel alone and the walls start coming in and the dark place starts showing up, as men, we all know about the dark place. It's not a fun place to be. It's one of those locations where once you're there, you kind of just sit there and you're like, where am I? And you're in a haze. You're probably going to work, you're probably going to school, you're probably doing your regular day-to-day operations, but you're still there. It's not leaving. Like, you're just, once you get there, like, you're there for a while. And with each one of us, I feel as though it is a special place that once we go there, tough to come back. It's one of those locations where once you get there, everything is in the forefront. One of the biggest things I learned from therapy is, like, all my problems, they weren't just problems that I tried to avoid or go around or above and over. Literally, I had to go through them. Like, I had to go through my problems and see, like, yo, this is something that if I keep avoiding it, it's still there. There's a brick wall that I have to bust through. So I feel as though your confidence is low. You're grasping at straws. You're trying to find out what's best for me, and it's all about me. That's where you might get in a situation, and all of this revolves around what we all know at the end of the day: getting in a relationship, starting a family, having a family. This is a pretty broad topic when we're talking about men, but when you start as a young person, when you start thinking about having a family, then it starts upping itself. Like, you're not just doing it just to make a wage, or you're not just doing like life to make a wage and to handle things. Now you're trying to look to take care of people. That happened to me right around the time I moved to Houston. And it became a point where I'm not only, making bread and doing what I got to do, but at the same time, I'm starting to make enough where I'm like, oh, I can actually not just take care of myself. I could probably take care of other people. I've seen people do better with less. So once you start having those conversations to yourself, you have to take the time, analyze, realize your position in life, and realize, one, beat level 1. Okay, we beat level 1. We got through everything we had to get through. Now we're at level 2, and we all know what happens when you get to level 2. All the enemies start getting harder for no reason. Like, you were perfectly fine for like the first couple, games and things like that, and then you're ranked up, and now the competition gets reckless for no reason. You're afraid you're playing Battlefield against World War II vets right off the bat. So once you get there and you realize, oh, the competition is a little bit stringent, and now there's more requirements of me, you could falter, you could fall from that. But at the end of the day, if you're confident enough in your abilities and you know what you're doing and you know that you're good at something, like, every single person can be good at something. Okay, that's the biggest crux of life. You think that you want to do what everybody else does. Not everybody else is like you. Not everybody else operates the way that you do. So once you do that and figure out what you're good at and what you can work on, and eventually, which is kind of persona non grata, in life, once you get good at something and you hit your 10,000 hours, then you get paid. I've been, me personally, 10,000 hours DJing, making music, rapping, do a whole bunch of stuff. I've literally just started getting paid from writing songs. Took me 14 years. All because I just kept on saying, yo, I like it. I know what I'm doing. It might not sound like the best on a good day, but then it sounds like super fire on another random day. So it just keeps on. You have to repeat, rinse, wash, and repeat over and over. And that's how you start building the confidence. So leading to the next point, and we're already 15 minutes in. I'm going to keep this under 30. Leading to the next point, toxicity, and what comes from that dark place that we were talking about in the second part, that toxicity breeds from those dark places, and it's a fail-safe. I could tell you from personal experience that toxicity is born from the dark place, and it's a place where it is safe. You know what you're doing. It's not like at first you're kind of, and when I talk about this, it's kind of like you're playing a bad actor. You're playing the villain role in the storyline, and you can be the antagonist as much as you want. This is all off of emotion, but once you start doing that and you know what you're doing, that's when it gets really, really bad. You start knowing the processes, and you start knowing what you're going to do when you're going to do it. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. And the trick is to not only fight it, but at the same time learn that it is a safety net. It is your insecurity. It is the thing that makes you sit there and be like, I'm not such and such. I'm such and such. Like, it's your ego. It's what's talking to you and realizing at the end of the day, I'm being threatened. So once I'm being threatened, then I'm just going to go ahead and scorched earth policy. It's not good. From experience, it's not good. And the flip side of it is, you could say that you were a good guy about it, still lose. It's a lose-lose situation. But at the same time, you're doing the work to get past it. It is a fail-safe. It is nothing that you want to have in your life. It's better for the other person to give you the red flags and sit there and be like, yeah, I'm this person, and for you to walk away. One of the biggest things I've learned from my wonderful mother is that whenever you're in an argument or whenever you're in a situation that you're like, I can't get out of, or anything like that, try your best to walk away. Try your best to get out of the situation and walk away for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Go for a walk. Biggest advice she told me growing up is to walk away, and not walk away from the situation. It's not like I said from before, not like you're avoiding it. You're giving yourself time. Time is your biggest benefactor when it comes to situations like this. You want to space out the time before the action happens. You react to it, and now you get to evaluate. And if that takes a while, that takes a while. But you don't want to react in that little period of it happened, now you have to react to it, now things go left. You never want to do that. Trust me. It's better to walk away. Okay? There's 6 bullet points in this, and we're making some good time. So next point is falling in love with your passion. If you find something that you're good at and you can do without thinking, there's a difference. Especially when I look at my music and I look at certain things, there's certain times I just don't think. It just happens. I say it comes in waves. It comes in like waves, like gigantic waves, and it crashes and it just stops. If you could find something that does that and you can get paid for that, sick. You're good. You don't have to worry about anything else. You have something that's either a hobby, a skill. One of the biggest tenements I learned from my dad was to have a skill that you can turn to a profession. So once you have those little keys and you start figuring out, yo, I can do this with my eyes closed. Like literally, there's been times that I've done things and I'm like, I can do this with my eyes closed. Like it's really nothing. It's like in 2 to 3 months, back in upstate New York, I was able to use like the lathe machine. Like I used to cut blinds. Crazy story, but I used to cut blinds at Lowe's, and it took me about 2 to 3 months, and I'm talking about like this thing is flying sparks, and I got the safety goggles on, whatever. You know those certain type of locations where it's like, they say it's off by like half an inch, or it's like off by like a quarter of an inch. So what you do, tune the shit, get that thing ready, because you're the only person working there, so you're the only person reliable enough, right? Tune it just enough, and just to cut just enough. Before you know it, you're nice. I got people driving an hour and a half, 2 hours away, Niskayuna to Niskayuna in upstate New York, talking about, oh yeah, we heard about this guy named Troy that knows how to cut blinds. 2-3 months in the game. So, you want to have enough of a skill set that you become indispensable, is what I'm saying. Develop your skills, get yourself to a place where it's like, yo, I can come here and tell you how much you're going to pay me straight up. Like, there's no, like, this, like, you could find somebody else, but I can guarantee their shit. Take it or leave it. So that's another one of those things where you can end up building your confidence, end up developing and getting your passion to a place where, maybe you get paid for it. And I'm saying either A, you get paid for it, A, you don't. You're still doing it. You're still having your time and have fun and having, that little bit of energy where it's like, yo, at the end of the day, I'm doing this for me. Number 5, which is pretty tough for a lot of guys, and I know this, is the future and dreams. When it comes to, and this is a personal thing with me, but when it comes to starting the fams, I think we don't really put that much weight into it, but like legitimately, if you are single and you are, just starting out and you're just trying to figure it out, you're starting something up fresh. There's no playbook for this. If I'm talking broadly, you got guys that are either married, divorced, never got married and just have kids and things like that. You always got to look at it like you always have to have a future and a dream and something where it's like, yo, at the end of the day, this is what I'm working towards, because from cradle to grave, that's it. Like, me personally, I'm kind of a believer of reincarnation and things like that, but I never really sat there and said, yo, I got another do-over for this. No, like, this is one shot, one kill. Like, this is it. Like, I'm gonna go through this one go and whatever happens, but to sit there and say you're gonna start something fresh and you're not well versed, you haven't done the research, you haven't dated, you haven't gone through the trenches, you haven't been in and out of relationships and things like that, you gotta cut yourself some slack. You have to cut yourself some slack, because there's a lot of people out there doing it and they have no clue what they're doing. I can see that every single day. I've been working in retail for that 1 year I worked at the airport. I've been working in retail for damn near 15 years, and I see it every day. These people that come around that buy stuff and think it's gonna solve their issue, some do, some don't, but there's some people that just go about their days and they're just going about it. No rhyme or reason. There's nothing that they're thinking about. They're just legitimately just in the loop. Okay? So for you to sit there and say, oh, I don't have things figured out, that's fair. That's a starting point. Once you got that and you go from there, then you can start building blocks. A lot of times I don't really talk to many people about my life like that unless we're talking on the phone or texting or whatever. But for me, it's been a trial and error after trial and error after trial and error. None of this has been planned out, even with this. Okay? That's why I was saying, Houston looked pretty at one point, but for me, the goal wasn't in Houston. It was here for now. Like, as I'm like, even as I'm sitting here being like, yo, this is it, I don't even think it's fully it. I'm always leaving things open. So whatever happens, I leave myself open to, higher power, making sure I can get through things safe, but I leave it up to interpretation, and I leave things up to experience life and experience different things. A lot of things that were going on before with me was based off of everything that happened with 2020, into 2021, into 2022, and now that I'm in 2023, I feel as though there's something that I can try to give back. And there's something that I've realized over doing all this, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So for a lot of my dudes, I just want to say, take your time, understand that this is stacked against you. We all know when the chips are stacked against you, but you're not alone. Once again, you're not in a position where you are alone. You have to build yourself. Once you build yourself, you start building the community and things around you. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and I told him I didn't pick like one by one the people that are involved in my life. They kind of gravitated to me and they stuck around long enough. I said, okay, all right, okay, this person, that person. And not saying that, you know, people use you, or, you know, it's not like I have this person for that person, I have this person for that person. Beautiful, just got the text that my man's still alive. All right. It's about the fact that at the end of the day, these people are around for a reason. The people that are not around, they are not around for a reason. And that was more automatic as opposed to cutting people off. Like, I never like to cut people off or block people or things like that. But when it gets to a point where it's like, all right, this is enough is enough. Like, this is nah, I tap out. Like, that's when I should do a little side B on the side, like over here. Learn when to take a L. That's like a side, like that's like bullet point 5B. Learn when to take a L. Take the L. Sometimes you gotta take the L's because you'll take a win. You'll take a W any day of the week. But learn how to take a proper L. Fall back. Do what you gotta do. So close it out. Last bullet point 6. You can even call this like 5B. AB. So last thing is get help. And it's not just your generic get help. Go and get some help. There's so much help out there, bro. I remember like it was yesterday. You know, get into argument with my parents, get into it, quarantine just hit and got the new place and I'm trying to figure out everything and oh god. So one of the biggest things was Danny from Kentucky. It was a individual to this day still can't even, you have those people that come into your life as a lightning bolt and dive out. But Danny from Kentucky was the customer service agent that was basically leading me to my therapist, because my job was able to have like a list, like a bar list, but they had like a hotline, whatever. And I was going through it. Something crazy. But calling him, because he was prompted from another good friend of mine, my old manager. You know what I'm saying? And he said, just call the number, bro. They'll help you out. Call the number, bro. Call the number, because that was my cliff where I'm like, am I actually going to get help now? Am I actually going to figure this thing out? Like, I'm actually going to talk to some random stranger about my life's problems? Danny picked up. And when he picked up, tears coming down my eyes, thinking about all these things. This is all before things got even worse. But this is right at the precipice. This is like April 2020. And calming voice, I'm here for you, bro. I'm here for you, man. We'll get you some help. We'll find a way to get you some help. You're safe. You're in a good location. Even thinking about it now. 15 minutes talking to this guy took me off of a cliff. And as men, we know that cliff. It's not the cliff, but it's a cliff that you could fall off of. And he talked me off the cliff. And I looked at it and I said, hey man, thank you. Because I like in 15 minutes, me and him became boys. I hope he's doing so good right now. I hope he's doing well. Because it was during that period of time, work from home. He's probably home thinking like, what the? But led me into the right channels, stayed with me on the phone, found the list of therapists, and got me linked with a therapist. Right after I got into it with my parents. Which at that time it was like, oh my God, like I'm really messing up here. But it's little things like that, even complete strangers, you know what I'm saying, really matter. So that was a good one. It's DJ Troy 23 back with another video. Really appreciate y'all checking in, and I'll have more coming up. You know, we got our regular scheduled program when it comes to the music, and I got a couple friends that are doing podcasts. I want to shout out Skip from BK, Mikey Goodfella Gaming, OG Willikers, you know, the Findy Money app. My boy Ryan and Damon are doing their things, you know, making their own app, and everybody's just trying to work and do everything, because it's not easy. Trust me, I go through this every day. It's not easy, and this life is not gonna get any easier with the way that these people is running the world. So, you know, let's close it out right there. Thank you for listening. Peace.